Woo! It's your boy Don. We back in the booth. Another episode of the Cozy Corner. You know what I'm saying? Today and yesterday, the past 30 hours in the NBA world has been a whirlwind. I wouldn't say it's been like super positive, but it's been a lot of just like interesting stories, a lot of unfortunate situations, and a lot of questions that need to be answered. So kick back, relax, get you a drink, get you something to eat, because this is more than likely going to be a long episode of the Cozy Corner. Everybody get cozy and tune in. First, we're gonna start with the games, and then we'll get into the news stories afterwards. So, firstly, I want to start off with the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks that happened last night. I don't know, bro. That's crazy, bro. Like, I don't know how to explain like what the Bucks are, because they're a good team, but they're flawed in a sense because their best player is flawed. And when it really comes down to it, just in those situations where it's like it's go time, it's game time, something always happens, bro. Like, and it's not a knock towards Giannis because he's a great player, and despite his shortcomings, he's still been able to achieve a lot in the league. But I don't know what it is, bro. Every time it's that time and it's that crunch time, it's just something wonky happens. And it happened again. They had a 16-point lead going into the half. Even though it wasn't like the greatest performance, they looked pretty decent, but their offense was just like meh. You know what I'm saying? They didn't in the playoffs, right? You have to the greatest. If you want to win, you gotta kill, bro. You can't play with your food. If you got somebody on the ropes, you gotta finish them, bro. You gotta complete the knockout, bro. And they didn't do it. So when you give another team a chance, especially with an all-time great like Kevin Durant, magic will happen. And that's exactly what happened. Kevin Durant was magical. 49, 15. He had 10 assists, if I'm remembering correctly. He had 10 assists. Jeff Green, 27 points, 7 threes. Blake Griffin had 17. James Harden played a very small role for his standard, but he was able to do his thing. He got his boogie on, and they're up 3-2. And now the pressure is on the Bucks. It's no longer on the Nets. It's all the pressure is on the Bucks. So that should be interesting going into the game 6. They gotta win the game at home. They have to win. They have to. So that's a bow on that. I see there's a lot of been like things with the coach, like Coach Bud and stuff like that. I understand that, but at a certain point in time, the onus has to be on the players. You can't just blame the coach. The onus has to be on the players at a certain point in time, because I understand the coaches, the guy that's giving the guys the direction, but when you're on the court, you have the ability to make your own decisions and do what you need to do. So, equal blame for the coach and the players for me. I'm not just, yeah. So, on to the next one. Now, the first game tonight was the Sixers and the Hawks. Now, the Sixers had something to prove after blowing game 4. They had a 17-point lead at a certain point in time in the game. And this is the same thing as the Bucks, in my opinion. They play with their food, bro. You can't play with your food when it's playoff time because everybody's good. Everybody has a chance, bro. You can't play with your food, dog. And they play with their food, and they went rotten, bro. Like, the flesh was rotten, bro. And credit to the Hawks, they fight. That's what good teams do. They fight. They're going to keep fighting and clawing, and they got a dub in game 4. And going into game 5, Joel Embiid had something to prove because he was terrible in the game before. He shot 20% from the field, His free throw attempts were cut in half, and he just played terribly. Everybody else kind of played good, but it was just Joel that was missing, and down the stretch, everybody just started to, like, not crumble, but the body language wasn't good going down the stretch, and the Hawks just, like, I don't know. It was crazy. But tonight, the 76ers came out on a mission. They came out, they were handling business. Not playing with their food like they supposed to. They came out. They were hitting shots. Joel Embiid was aggressive. He was getting to the rim. He was getting to the line. He wasn't settling for all jump shots. Ben Simmons was getting out in transition. You know what I'm saying? They played well. They had a 26-point lead at a certain point in the game. But in my opinion, at a certain point in time, they got complacent. And just like with the Bucks, they got complacent and magic happens. This is the playoffs, bro. You can't relax. You can never relax, bro. Never. You can't, bro. Because everybody's too damn good for you to relax. Too damn good, bro. Like, and the catalyst, I know Trae Young had 39, but the catalyst for that run that they started at the end of the third going to the fourth was Lou Will. Finished with 15. He had 13 points in the fourth quarter. John Collins had a couple big shots. Trae Young had a couple big shots, and they did it all without their, I don't know, I guess I'll call him their second best player, Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's hurt, so we'll figure out what that's about probably tomorrow or in a few hours. But yeah, bro, like, playing with your food, dog, and you're gonna be out, man. You gotta kill, bro. It's that time of year where you gotta kill, bro. You can't, it's kill or be killed, bro. There's no more playing around, bro. And for the 76ers, they just gotta, it was a bad game from damn near everybody except for Joel and Seth Curry. Both of them damn near had 40, and nobody else had double digits. Tobias didn't come and bring it. Ben Simmons, boy, they had a strategy for Ben. Ben Simmons isn't a scorer, but he had 4 shot attempts, I want to say, and 14 free throw attempts, and he missed 10 of them. So, I mean, in the first half, it wasn't really effective. It was just more so, it was like racking up fouls because the Hawks weren't able to take advantage of the 76ers Ben Simmons missing free throws on the offensive end. But, hey, man, Hawks got heart, dog. They got heart, and they pulled out a dub. So, that's what that is. And going into game 6 for them, they got a chance, dog. They really got a chance, and I don't know what it is, bro. Like the crown jewels of the East. I don't know what's going on. They supposed to be the next up, and I don't know what's happening right now. They're kind of crumbling under the pressure, but everybody in their career has to go through a test. So we'll see how they respond. Even if they go out this year, it's not the end of the world. It's just gonna be a disappointment for them in the moment, but it'll all be a part of the story. It'll all be part of the story once they become great. So, you know what I'm saying? And, man, the Hawks got all the momentum going into Game 6, so it's going to be interesting to see what's going on in the East. East is getting crazy. And for the final game tonight, we got the game that just finished. This was a certified hood classic. The Jazz and the Clippers, Game 5. Clippers came out with a dub. Paul George, playoff P, whatever you want to call him, came out and delivered. Delivered, bro. Delivered. 36 or 37 with 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 or 22 from the field. He wasn't playing, bro. He was getting to that. And the thing about Paul George is he's really good when he gets downhill and he's aggressive going towards the rim, because once he starts getting shots at the rim or closer to the basket, that opens up his 3-ball because he's in a rhythm. And then when he's in a rhythm, he can start hitting those crazy combo 1-2-3 combo step back threes. It's because he's started off getting closer towards the rim, and he got going. And another thing, there was 4 guys that I think stepped up for the Clippers. Paul George, in the absence of Kawhi. Paul George, Marcus Morris Sr., Reggie Jackson, and Terrence Mann. And Marcus Morris really had a great first half, not so good second half. He was hitting a couple shots in the third quarter to keep him, you know what I'm saying, just scoring, you know. But in the fourth quarter, when it came down to it, Mr. June, the newly crowned Mr. June, Reggie Jackson, came through, hit 3 big shots. I want to say 3 big shots. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3, but he went on a personal 5-0 run. He hit it. I think it was a 7-0 run. He hit a crazy 2, and then he hit a 3, and then he got a layup on Gobert. And Terrence Mann, bro, I think he overcame that fear of like not shooting the ball. There was a couple possessions where the Jazz went on a run when the Clippers started to be like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what it was. They were just not aggressive. And they were just swinging the ball around and standing around and trying to ISO and then passing it up at the last second. And Terrence Mann was a part of that on a couple of possessions. But there was one possession where PG got downhill and he was able to kick it to the corner. And Terrence Mann had missed a 3 before on a previous possession. Rudy Gobert closed out. He pump fake. He took him to the lane and boomed on him. And won. Boomed on him. Damn near made me lose my voice, boy. That was crazy. Shout out to you. And he made the free throw. And from the Jazz perspective, I mean, Donovan Mitchell didn't have a good game. You got 30 out of Bojan Bogdanovic. You had 15 from Jordan Clarkson, but nothing really else. Donovan Mitchell had 21, but he wasn't the same Donovan Mitchell that you usually see. He wasn't ultra aggressive, getting a lot of shots up, and I think his ankle was really bothering him. So that's probably the catalyst as to why he wasn't aggressive. But good dub for the Clippers, man. Good dub for the Clippers. I'm rooting for PG, man. A lot of people hating on PG. A lot of people hate him just because it's the trend, it's popular, and I don't know, bro. Like, I never got why anybody, like, people were hating on the Clippers in general. I had a good sense about the Clippers, and a lot of it stems from them talking, and it's like, I mean, we hooping, bro. We gonna talk. Like, you can't be confident and not talk your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm rocking with the Clippers. I'm rooting for the Clippers, and that's really it on the games. Now into the news. Tough day for news, bro. Tough day for injuries and all that other kind of stuff. Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard. I'm gonna start with Chris Paul. Chris Paul is in the protocol, health and safety protocols. I'm pretty sure he got that. I don't know it hasn't been confirmed or it's not a thing, but I think he got that, bro. And you know what I'm talking about when I say he got that. It sucks, bro, because first round he has a shoulder injury, and it's like, damn, here we go again, bro. Here we go again. And then his team, they start carrying. You know what I'm saying? They playing well even with his limited contributions, and he gets back to the point where he's healthy again. And in that second round, he dominated. And like, yeah, we're here, CP, we here. You know what I'm saying? We here, CP. You know, and they sweep the Nuggets. We chilling, bro. We waiting for the next opponent, and boom, this happens. And it's like, he can't catch a break, bro. Damn, dog. Like, damn. Like, really, damn, dog. Like, for real, it sucks. I'm hoping for like a 7-game series for the Clippers and the Jazz, just for the sake of like Chris Paul being able to come back and play in the series if he's willing and if he's able to, because I don't know if he got it and he's having symptoms and all that other kind of stuff, or if it's a thing where he was just around somebody that had it, and you know what I'm saying, he has to go on a protocol for 10 to 14 days or something like that. But I'm pretty sure even if the Jazz and Clippers go 7, he's probably gonna miss at least the first game. And that's going to be big because, just imagine that, bro. Imagine that. You know what I'm saying? The Clippers, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but the Clippers and the Suns in the conference finals, that would be crazy. Chris Paul going up against his former team, his former organization, you know, that would be crazy. But I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because you never know what can happen. And that's pretty much that on that. And for the Clippers, Kawhi, he's probably out for the rest of the playoffs. I don't know. Nobody knows what it is. They think it's an ACL injury. Nobody really knows because his knee is still swollen, so they haven't been able to re-image it to figure out what the problem is. But yeah, he's probably gonna be out for the playoffs, and this sucks. And this flows into another point of there was a there was a big conversation about the cost of this season, and we're seeing the downside of compressing the season in the fashion that the NBA did. And yeah, it was a success, and we're gonna get back on schedule for next season, but at what cost? The product is taking a hit because all your star names are, not all of them, but a decent amount of them are getting hurt. If you want to go through the list, we can. You got Chris Paul, you got LeBron. I mean, LeBron didn't miss any time in the playoffs, but let's scratch LeBron. So we got Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell missed the game, Mike Conley, Kawhi Leonard now. You got Joel Embiid. Who else missed time? That's 6 guys, bro, that are prominent players. They're not just bench guys. And if you want to talk about bench guys, you got Serge Ibaka was out. DeAndre Hunter is out for the rest of the season with a torn meniscus. I'm trying to think of other guys that got hurt. Bertans got hurt for the Wizards. It's just a lot of injuries, and there was a lot of injuries throughout the season too. That just soft tissue injuries, torn ACLs like Jamal Murray's, and just a lot of muscle injuries. And that has to do with the scheduling. And I'm not saying that the off season, the short amount of time that played a part in it, but I don't think it played a big part in it, because when the pandemic first happened, the season stopped on March 11th, and they didn't play again until August. So that was about 4.5, damn near 5 months, where there was no playing, and that was a pseudo off season for real. And now you have for certain teams, it's been a month, it may have been 2 months, it may have been up 2.5 months, in between the end of the last season and this season. I don't think it was the time off. I think it's how they compressed it into being 4 games of 5 nights, and 5 games of 6 nights, and things like that really hampered the players' bodies, and you see the result of it. So that's what that is. And lastly, we got the coaching carousel. Now, this is interesting to me because these 2 teams that let go of their coaches got fired. They have an interesting path on where they're going to go in order to become a part of the upper echelon of the NBA. Because in my opinion, one team is in purgatory, is in NBA purgatory, and the other team is kind of teetering on that purgatory. Because I'm gonna start with the Wizards. The Wizards are in NBA purgatory, right? Because they're not bad enough to be able to get a high pick in the draft, to be able to retool their team and rebuild their team. So they have to be able to. I don't know. They're old. Their best players are older, and trying to fill in draft picks is not going to work. So they're going to have to make a decision on if they're going to keep the guys that they're veteran stars, or if they're going to go young. And it's going to have to happen quick because right now the iron is hot for Bradley Beal, right? And the GM's got to make it. The owner and the GM, the front office, going to have to make a decision on which way they want to go, because time is ticking. Bradley Beal is 28, 27, and right now he's in his prime. And if you were to trade him, you can get a bunch for him and be able to jumpstart your rebuild. Or if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you want to go for it, you got to build veteran guys, and you got to get a veteran coach and things like that, because Scott Brooks and the Wizards couldn't come agree on a deal, and he got fired. So now they don't have a coach. They're going to be looking for a coach. I don't really know who's in the mix for them. It's probably just the same guys. So that's really that. And yeah. And lastly, for the coaching carousel, is the New Orleans Pelicans let go of Stan Van Gundy. There's an article about Stan Van Gundy's role with the New Orleans Pelicans and what happened over this season. And I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'm going to definitely read it and see what it says. What it says. And I'm pretty sure it'll probably be a clash, because Stan is an old school coach and his team is extremely young. So they probably didn't mesh very well, and he probably lost the locker room in a certain sense. Might have been the same way that Nate Bjorken lost the locker room with the Pacers with all the goofy shit he was doing. No do-rag. Like, just chill, bro. Like, that's something else. I don't want to talk about that. But it's interesting to see where they're going to go from here. There was a little bit of buzz about them hiring their assistant coach. I'm not remember her name right now. But I seen like a little clip of her talking. Telling the story about how she achieved what she achieved in her career as a basketball player and how she's a Hall of Famer and she won a gold medal. She seems like a very energetic person, but also a person that's wise enough and old enough to be able to hold the players on that team accountable, especially them being young. And I don't know, I get a good sense that she might be a good coach. As like I don't know her schemes or nothing like schematic wise, I don't know, but like just from the vibe that I get from her, she seems like she's gonna be like a strong woman. Cause like, I don't know what other men might think, but women are leaders. They can do what men do, and they'd probably be more potent if it was for a woman to do that, because women are leaders in a sense, and especially with young men, bro, like just young dudes, you're able to hold them accountable and be able to talk to them and have that fire and that passion. And that's what I seen in that 2 minutes of watching her, was that fire and that passion. So it'll be interesting to see where the Pelicans go from here. I don't really know. There's a lot of teams that are in that spot, like in purgatory in the NBA, like the Wizards. The Pelicans are in a better situation because they have 2 All-Stars, but still they're not exceeding expectations. The Pacers are in that kind of same boat with the Pelicans. They have an All-Star on their team and they have a pretty decent team, but it's just like, what are we doing here? Which way are we going? We either going all in or what are we doing here? So yeah, bro, the past 30 hours in the NBA have been ridiculously crazy. There's been a lot of intrigue, a lot of collapse. There's been a lot of bad news, sad news, good news, interesting news, a lot of questions. And hey, man, we're getting to that time of year where the NBA gets crazy. So I don't really know what else to say. I'm talking for a long time, but I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Another episode of Cozy Corner in the books with your boy Don. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Please share. I want to keep this discourse going. I want to be able to talk to everybody in the basketball world and be able to change a little bit of their perspective, because I feel as though my perspective is different than some others. And yeah, man, I'm signing out, man. Peace.